Senator John Kennedy takes the spotlight in a heated Judiciary Committee hearing. The First Step Act, a law to reduce sentences and release inmates. Kennedy demands answers from Bureau of Prisons Director Colette Peters. What he uncovers will leave you shaking your head. I begin with direct questions to Director Peters. You're the director of the Bureau of Prisons, correct? You came from Oregon, where drugs were legalized. Now Oregon is about to reverse course, but Peters hesitates. She doesn't know about the policy change. Hit subscribe for more truth Congress doesn't want you to see.
Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you again, Senator.
I'm a big fan. Director Peters, you're the director of the Bureau of Prisons, is that right?
That's correct, sir.
You used to run the correction system in Oregon, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Oregon legalized drugs, is that right?
That's correct.
Oregon's about to reverse that, is that correct?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the policy proposed to reverse that.
Oh, you just ignored Oregon?
Oregon still has a very special place in my heart, sir.
Okay. You haven't read any of the articles about the reversal?
I haven't, Senator.
You don't know anything about it?
Correct, sir.
Okay, wow.
The questioning shifts to the First Step Act. Peters admits about 30,000 individuals have been released. Kennedy asks, did you contact their victims? The answer, vague, no confirmation. And Peters can't say how many have reoffended. 6 years later, there's still no answer.
You're in charge of implementing the First Step Act, Director?
That's correct.
How many criminals have you released under the First Step Act?
So First Step Act for the overall release since the initiation of the First Step Act is, I have that exact number in front of me.
You don't know off the top of your head?
Sorry, Senator. So 70% of those that were released, we have about 30,000 individuals that have been released since the passage of the First Step Act.
All right, so you've released 30,000 criminals under the First Step Act, okay? And how many of them, before you released them, did you contact any of their victims to say we're about to let this guy out?
Senator, it's my understanding that that notification happens through the U.S. Attorney's Office, but I will check into that and get back to you.
You don't know?
Senator, I don't.
Have you followed up with the U.S. attorneys to say, do you have a system to say, hey, we're about to let this guy out? Would we want to be sure the victim's contacted?
As a former victim's advocate, I share that value, that victim notification should happen. I'll check on the process.
But you don't know if it's happening?
That's correct, Senator.
Wow. Okay. Of the 30,000 criminals you let free, how many of them have come back, have committed a crime again, hurt somebody else?
So that number is one that we're still looking at as it relates to the recidivism rate for those that were released on the First Step Act.
You don't have any idea?
No, Senator.
Kennedy doesn't hold back. He points out the Bureau of Prisons employs over 40,000 people, yet not one could produce data on recidivism. 30,000 inmates were let go, without accountability, without follow-up, and without answers. If you're fed up with government incompetence, smash that like button and share this video.
You don't have anybody at the Bureau that can count?
I do not have that number in front of me today.
So let me get this straight. The First Step Act was passed in 2018. This is 2024. Am I right so far?
That's correct.
That's 6 years. And in 6 years, you've let 30,000 criminals go, right?
That's correct.
And you don't have the slightest idea how many of them committed another crime and came back?
I don't have that number in front of me today,
And you
sir.
run the Bureau of Prisons?
That's correct.
And how many employees do you have?
About 40,000 employees.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. General, I know you got a lot to do, but could you give us a hand here and let's find out whether the First Step Act worked? And how many, if we've released 30,000 criminals after 6 years, our director here doesn't know how many have committed another crime and come back? Can you help us?
Senator, I can certainly follow up on that issue. I will just say in terms of work we've done in the past, for example, on compassionate release and going to the Bureau of Prisons, this is before Director Peters was there, and asking them for data on compassionate release because that was one of the issues that has come up.
Excuse me for interrupting, but I'm not talking about compassionate release.
No, I understand.
You know, my colleagues said we were told that it would save money and it would be in the interest of public safety to release criminals from prison. I didn't vote for it, but the majority rules. And so Congress did it. And Ms. Peters, Director Peters at the Bureau of Prisons, and her colleagues released 30,000 criminals, all of whom are there for a reason, okay?
Horowitz, the Inspector General, tries to offer perspective. He notes that in the past, the DOJ has struggled with data collection, whether on compassionate release or halfway houses. Billions are being spent, yet nobody can say whether the programs are even working, but Kennedy won't let go. This is why people hate government. This is why they don't trust government. He closes by questioning whether too many of those 40,000 employees are working from home instead of showing up and doing the job the American people pay them for.
They didn't just go to prison for a free toaster. They were there for a reason. And so her department let them go. And after 6 years, we don't have the slightest idea, not a single one of the 40,000 of her employees know how many have committed a second crime and come back. So how the hell are we supposed to figure out whether it worked? Your people ought to hide their head in a bag, Director, that you can't come here in front of this Congress and answer that question. I'm sorry, I interrupted you with my speech.
No, that's okay. I was just going to, my bottom line point on it was, I've often looked to those questions on things like compassionate release and other programs. And one of the challenges we found is the department just doesn't have good data on that. Halfway houses. Congress is spending about $500 million a year on halfway houses. There's really not great recidivism data on that either. How well are they working?
Before we do this, we need to find out. Look, I believe in justice. I believe in treating everybody fairly. But there are people out there, I don't know why, if I make it to heaven, I'm going to ask. They're not mixed up. They're not confused. They're not sick. It's not that their mama or daddy didn't love them or not enough. They just hurt other people. And they take other people's stuff. And we have to separate them from society. And the director let 30,000 of these folks go and can't tell me today how many have come back. I just find it takes my breath away. With 40,000 people. How many of your 40,000 people are actually coming to work or are still working from home, Director?
The supermajority of our employees come to work every day because we're running 24/7
What percentage are coming to work every day?
The percentage is quite high. I don't have the exact
You
number.
don't know?
But
Well, maybe there's your problem.
the supermajority of our individuals come to work
If they're not coming to
at our
work, they
institutions.
can't give us the answer. I've gone over. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. This is why people hate government and don't trust government.
Kennedy exposed something stunning. 30,000 criminals released under the First Step Act, and the Bureau of Prisons can't say how many reoffended. 6 years of silence, 6 years of failure. This is government at its worst, bloated, unaccountable, and detached from the people. Subscribe to Capital Conservatives for coverage you won't see anywhere else. Here, we hold them accountable.